Hi, and welcome to the JennScents Aromaversity Cafe. I wanted to show you how I formulate and create an aromatherapy blend for a client that comes in and has a particular need and needs something at that precise moment, or maybe clients that you're working with and you have a few moments to research and gather some information to be able to formulate an effective blend. So I'm going to show you, the way that I do it. And this is a very simple approach. There's a lot more layering that goes involved into making decisions, into choosing essential oils for a particular blend, but also customizing it for a particular person. You need to understand what their purpose is, what their experience is with aromatherapy, and also understand what, contraindications, allergies, and sensitivities they have to certain plant species. You also want to understand their health condition. If they have a serious health condition, such as high blood pressure, epilepsy, seizures, neurological issues going on, they're taking certain medications like blood thinners, then you want to cross-reference oils. But one of the first steps is you talk to your client, you find out what's going on, what is it that they need, why do they need it, and then that gives you more information to cross-reference. So doing a pretty thorough intake. I'm going to use, for example, somebody who comes in and says, just really need to make some decisions that are coming up, and I'm having some indecisiveness going on. I'm confused. I feel overwhelmed. I'm not quite sure what I need. I feel stuck. Some key words that I'm using in there that somebody described to me. So I go to my JennScents Aromatherapy, Holistic Aromatherapy Comprehensive Guide. There are over, 109 different essential oils, carriers, and so forth that's in here. So you have quite a bit of information about each essential oil. But I also in the back break it down by charts. And then I break the charts down by physical issues, mental issues, mindset, and also emotional health issues. So I'm going to look under the essential oils for mental concerns. And right there, and I break it down by body system. So indecisiveness goes back to let us know that the digestive system is having some issues, because when we think of ourselves and our health issues and we're working with clients and they have a lot of health issues, it can seem like there's a million things going on. When actuality, we translate that into body systems, it's one of 12 things going on. And so usually everything will fall into one or two categories for the most part. That's where we start. Those are the body systems that we work on. And then, everything else will kind of follow after that. So if I'm looking here, I can see immediately under the digestive system, indecisiveness is listed there. And then I list several oils: black pepper, cypress, furs, frankincense, geranium, orange, and there's a few others listed in there. So thinking about my client, knowing my relationship with my client, and then also kind of getting an intuitive reading, an energetic reading. And they use the word stuck, feeling overwhelmed. There's a lot going on. I need to make decisions. There's three in particular oils on that list that pop out. Black pepper. Black pepper is great for circulation. It moves stuckness. It helps when somebody feels overwhelmed by moving that stuckness. Also geranium, there's a lot going on. There's stressful times going on. Also kind of signifies I'm really needing to support myself. Geranium stands out to me for that reason. Also, it's a circulatory oil to help move stagnation. And orange. Felt like we needed a citrus oil in here because citrus is very uplifting, it's energizing, it kind of gets your mind moving, it makes you feel active. And so orange is also for creativity. When you're problem solving or making decisions, sometimes it needs to be a creative solution or a creative decision. So black pepper, geranium, and orange are the oils that I'm going to choose to create a situational blend for my client to help them get through this time period of making some significant decisions in their life. And so that's how I use the book, to go back and cross-reference. But then I can also go back and read about any of the oils. So sweet orange, for example, I can see all this information. I can read the properties. I can read the main body systems, the chemistry, physical benefits, mental benefits, emotional, chakra, historical, my personal experience. I give my 2 cents on how I have found it to be unique. And then also contraindications. The contraindication with orange is that it's photosensitive. Black pepper can be a skin irritant if it's not diluted. And then geranium, is pretty non-irritating. So I have chosen these 3 oils. I talked to my client. I'm like, how would you want your blend? Would you want it in a roll-on? Or would you want a spray that you can spray around as a body spray, as a mind spray, as a, olfactory enhancer, as a deodorant if you wanted to, a linen spray? How would you use it? They preferred a spray. And so that's why I've chosen the glass bottle. And so now that I've chosen my essential oils, I have to formulate those. And so I can look at, if I follow the 3-2-1 blending rule. So if you're very new to aromatherapy and you're like, I just need a starting point, orange is a top note and geranium is a middle note. Black pepper is also a middle note, but it's stronger than geranium and orange, and it's sharper, it's a spice, it's pepper. So I'm going to put that down towards the base note side. So in a 3-2-1 blending rule type situation, you would do 3 drops of a top note, 2 drops of a middle note to 1 drop of a base note. It's a great starting point. It kind of gives you, an idea of how would I do that? How would they blend well together scent wise? But then I also have to overlay the therapeutic. What do they need the most of? Yes, they need a lot of circulatory support. However, black pepper can be too much. And if you were to put equal drops of black pepper in orange, the black pepper is going to overpower the orange and you're not really going to smell it. The geranium is kind of like the teeter-totter. It's that equipoint that will balance those out. So I do like the 3-2-1 blending rule for this situation. 3, 2, 1. So that gives me 6 drops. This is a 2-ounce bottle. And so what I would like in here is to triple or quadruple that. I have to make the decision. Does my client have experience with aromatherapy? Do they need something stronger? Or does it need to be subtle? They're very sensitive, hypersensitivity going on. There's a lot of chaos. They just are in a chaotic state and they cannot handle too much shifting. They just need to it needs to be subtle. Then I'm going to go on the lower side. So if I was to take 3, 2, 1, that gives me 6 drops. If I triple that, that gives me 18 total drops. That would be for somebody who's semi-sensitive or hypersensitive and just needs a subtle shift. But for somebody who's like, oh no, I need a little bit more to get me where I need to go. I have experience with oils and I need it to be stronger. Then I'm going to quadruple that, which will take me to 24 total drops in here. So that means I would take 3 drops of orange, multiply that times 4. That gives me 12. I'm going to take geranium, which is 2 drops, and multiply that times 4. That gives me 8 drops. And then if I take 1 drop of pepper and multiply it times 4, that gives me 4 drops. So I'm going to do 12 drops of orange, 8 drops of geranium, and 4 drops of black pepper. I'm going to put those essential oils into the bottle first. And then I will add my vegetable glycerin. And I have a pump top on mine, so I do about 2 to 3 pump tops. It really equates out to be about a tablespoon, enough just to cover the oils that are in there. You also could put your vegetable glycerin in first and then apply your essential oils in there, and you're going to swirl it around. You'll just keep swirling it around, let it marinate. And so what I normally do, a little hack here, is I take the plastic part off, that way it's not all the way in there, and I just sit the top on there, because anytime your blend is exposed to the air, it's oxidizing, and I want to keep it fresh. So I'm just going to sit that on there, and I'm going to let that marinate for about an hour. If you don't have that time, try to give it at least 5 minutes if you can. We're going to let it sit for an hour, and then I will come back. I will take the top off. I will replace on this spritzer top the stock of the sprayer, and then I'm going to finish adding in my liquid base. Now, I personally like an enzyme base, a plant enzyme liquid that I use. You could also do distilled water. You could also do a hydrosol. You could put a little bit of rubbing alcohol in here and or witch hazel. That would be beneficial. Your essential oils are not water soluble, they're fat soluble. So if you were to put straight water, that would be fine because it's a spray. You're just going to shake it up before you use it each time. And the atomizer is so small that it will get everything up in here, and it will get the essential oils in the water and spray those out. So you will still get the benefit. Adding in the vegetable glycerin is an emulsifier that will help. Just to keep it more emulsified. Still shake it before you use it, but it holds it in a little bit better. And so once I add in my liquid enzymes and I put that in there, and then I will cap that, and then you can shake that up. You could swirl it, you could do infinity, you can write I love you, just to put a positive affirmation in here. You know, those of you who follow Dr. Emoto's work with the water blessings, you could put a water blessing on here to infuse it with that energy. Stick it in the sunlight for about 5 minutes just to infuse that positive vitamin D energy, the sun's energy, light, love and light into your blends. For those of you who do that, you can also put gemstones in here if you would like, but then you want to label it, have a nice label on here, and then you can give this to your customer, your client, and let them know the instructions of use. How many times a day should they be using it? Every morning, every afternoon, every night, every hour. Some situations may call for that. For this particular blend, it's, an indecisive spray, aromatic spray to help make decisions. Then I'm going to have them use it breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a couple extra times in the daytime. But more importantly, at least 1 hour before they need to make a decision, a half hour before they have to make a decision, and then at the time they're making a decision. In addition to that, when they're making a decision, sometimes there's analysis and evaluation that goes into that. So they gather all of their facts, they're making a list of pros and cons at the time that they're creating and evaluating and assessing all of the components that they need to make a decision. You want them to smell the blend. At the time they need to make the decision, you also want them to smell the blend because there's memory association. Whatever was going on at the time they're retrieving all this information, all the pros and cons, all of the details that they need to know into making a healthy, responsible decision, we want to be able to pull that in. The blend can tie that together for them. So this was a quick demonstration just of how to use the book, how to interpret that when you're working with a client. You have particular client needs. They give you information. You cross-reference that in the book. There's also a glossary in the back where you can cross-reference things too. So for people, if somebody says, hey, I have some blood sugar issues, what do you have? You can come in here and see blood sugar issues. You can see the pages and then go find that. You can also look up by essential oil or by carrier that's in there. And then you grab your team, your essential oil team, and you pull together who's going to be on the team, and then you assign them a position by saying, okay, you're in first position by having more drops. You're in second position by having the second most drops. And then you're in the third position, which is having the least amount of drops. Get those in the bottle, add your carrier, label it, give instructions. But also importantly is to cross-reference with your client any contraindications and safety. So hopefully this was helpful in helping you work through your case studies, work through client situations that come up. And if you have any questions, don't ever hesitate to ask me. Happy blending, everybody.